Because one has contacted the ideal and sent it out, it does not follow that it is his particular possession. If he did appropriate it and hold it, where would be room for receiving? To receive more, we must give out what we have received. If we withhold what we receive, stagnation will follow, and we will be like the wheel that generates power from the water and suddenly, of its own volition, begins to withhold the water which it is using. It will soon find itself stifled with inert water. It is only when the water is allowed to flow freely through that it is of value to the wheel to create power. Just so with man. When he contacts God's ideas, he must give them out in order to receive the benefit from them. He must allow all to do the same, that they may grow and develop as he is growing. I am of the opinion that what Jesus taught came to him as a direct revelation from God, as it no doubt has come to our great teachers. Are not all things of God, and whatever one human being can do, cannot all do? We believe you will be convinced that God is ever willing and ready to reveal himself to all men, as he has revealed himself to Jesus and others. The only requisite necessary is for each one to be willing to let God come forth. We believe with all sincerity that all are created equal, that all men are one man, that the mighty works done by Jesus can and will be done by all. You will see there is nothing mysterious about these works. The mystery is only in man's mortal concept of them. We fully realize you have come to us with minds more or less skeptical. We trust you will live with us and know us as we really are. Our work and the results accomplished, we leave you to accept or reject as you will. Next chapter. We left this village for Ashma, a smaller one, about 90 miles distant. Emal assigned 2 younger men to accompany us. These men, fine, erect specimens of the Hindu type, were to have charge of the entire expedition. The perfect ease and poise with which they accomplished their task surpassed any of our former experiences. For convenience of identification, I am calling these 2 men Jast and Nipro. Emal was the one that received us and looked after our welfare at the village from which we took our departure. He had had many more years' experience than the others. Jast was the executive head of the expedition, while Nipro was his assistant, and saw that all our orders were carried out. Emal sent us away with a few remarks in which he said, "You are about to start on your expedition with these 2 men, Jast and Nipro, to accompany you. As you travel, it will take about 5 days to journey to your next important stopping place, about 90 miles distant. I will tarry here for a time, because it will not be necessary for me to consume that time to cover the distance, but I will be there to greet you. I wish to ask that you leave one of your party here, in order to make observation and collaborate what may happen. In this way, time will be saved and we will be able to join the expedition. He will be able to join the expedition not later than 10 days hence. We simply ask him to watch and report what he sees." We started with Jast and Nipro in charge of the expedition, and I wish to say that more business-like arrangements could not well be imagined. Every detail was complete and swung into line with the rhythm and precision of music. This harmony was maintained throughout the entire expedition, which lasted 3.5 years. I wish here to add my impressions of Jast and Nipro. Jast was a fine, upstanding Hindu, kind, effective, with no bluff or bluster. Every order he gave was almost in a monotone, and executed with precision and snap that caused us to wonder. From the very onset, we could see a fineness of character that caused much comment. Nipro, a wonderful character, was here, there, and everywhere, always cool, collected, and a marvel of efficiency. There was always the same calm, accompanied by quiet precision of movement, with wonderful power to think and execute. This was so marked that every member of the expedition commented upon it. Our chief remarked, "These fellows are wonderful. It is a relief to find people who can think and execute." We arrived at the appointed village about 4 o'clock on the 5th day, and there was Emil to greet us, as he had agreed. Can you imagine our amazement? We were quite certain we had come by the only traveled route, and by the swiftest mode of locomotion in that country, except as the couriers go. They travel in relays and go night and day. Here was a man well advanced in years, as we thought, and one we felt would in no wise be able to negotiate a journey of 90 miles in less time than it required us to do the same. Yet here he was. Of course, we all tried to ask questions at once, and were eager to hear. These were his words. "I said when you departed that I would be here to greet you. I am here. I wish to call your attention more fully to the fact that man, in his right domain, is limitless, knows no limit of time or space. Man, when he knows himself, is not obliged to toil wearily along for 5 days to accomplish 90 miles. Man in his right estate can accomplish any distance. It matters not the magnitude, instantly. A moment ago I was in the village from which you departed 5 days ago. What you saw as my body still reposes there. Your associate, whom you left in that village, will tell you that until a few moments before 4 o'clock I conversed with him, stating that I would go to greet you as you would arrive here about this hour. What you saw as my body is still there, and your associate still beholds it, although it is at present inactive. This was done simply to show you that we are able to leave our bodies and greet you at any appointed place, at any specified time. The two who accompanied you could have accomplished the journey as I have. In this way you will more readily realize that we are only ordinary humans of the same source as you, that there is no mystery, but that we have developed the powers given all by the Father, the great omnipotent one, more fully than you have. My body will remain where it is until night, then I will bring it here, and your associate will proceed on his way here as you did, arriving in due time. After a day's rest we will journey to a small village 1 day off, where we will tarry 1 night, then return here and meet your associate to see what his report will be. We will assemble this evening in the lodge. In the meantime, farewell." In the evening, after we had assembled, Emil, without opening the door, suddenly appeared in our midst and said, "You have seen me appear in this room, as you would say, by magic. Let me say, there is no magic about it. Here is a simple experiment which you can behold. You can see this. Consequently, you will believe. Kindly gather around so that you can see. We have a small glass of water which one of your number has just brought from the spring. You see that a minute particle of ice is forming in the very center of the water. You see it gather to itself, particle by particle, more ice, until now the whole of the water in the glass is frozen. What has happened? I held the central atoms of the water in the universal until they became formed, or in other words, I lowered their vibrations until they became ice, and all the other particles formed around them until the whole has become ice. You can apply this to the little glass, the tub, the pond, the lake, the sea, the whole mass of the water of the earth. What would happen? All would be frozen, would it not? To what purpose? None. You ask by what authority? I say by using a perfect law.